The transport ship slowed as it entered the space above the Academy world. It was a wide planet with pale rings and many lights on the dark side. The Academy stood on a high plateau, made of white stone and metal that reflected the nearby stars. For many species, this place was a symbol of strength and honor. For one human, it was a quiet test that no one else understood yet. Eli Rook stood alone near the viewing glass of the ship. He was not tall, not wide, and not loud. His clothes were simple, made to fit many worlds. He carried no weapons and showed no marks of rank. His hands were steady, but his heart was beating fast. He had trained for years to come here, but training never felt the same as arrival. Around him, other students gathered in small groups. They were tall, wide, floating, scaled, furred, or made of strange light. They spoke in clicks, tones, and shared mind pulses. Some glanced at the human and then looked away. Others stared for a moment longer, curious but not impressed. The ship docked with a low hum. Doors opened and warm air filled the hall. An academy guide floated forward, its body shaped like a smooth shell with thin arms of light. Its voice was calm and even. "Welcome to the Interstellar Combat and Survival Academy. All new students will exit in order. Remain calm. Your strength will be measured soon." Eli followed the line. His boots touched the academy floor, which felt solid and heavy. Gravity here was stronger than Earth standard, but not by much. He felt it in his legs at once. He adjusted his stance and kept moving. They were led into a wide hall filled with scanning arches. Each student stepped forward one by one. Lights passed over bodies. Numbers appeared in the air. Instructors watched from raised platforms, reading data streams and making notes. The first few students caused quiet sounds of approval: high strength, fast reaction time, energy output beyond safe limits. These were the ones the academy liked. Then Eli stepped into the arch. The light moved over him slowly. The system paused longer than normal. Data blinked and shifted. Instructors leaned forward. Strength output, low; reaction speed, average; energy projection, none; bone density, moderate; heart efficiency, unclear. The system gave a soft tone. A label appeared beside his name. Threat level, minimal. A few instructors made quiet notes. One turned to another and spoke. "The human shows no combat traits, no natural weapons, no energy field." Another replied, "Endurance unknown, but power is weak. Place him in the lowest group." Eli stepped out of the arch. He felt the weight in his chest, not from shame, but from the truth that the machine did not see him. He had expected this. He said nothing. A nearby student named Tarn, tall and armored in natural plates, watched him pass. Tarn's kind valued direct strength. He let out a small sound that meant confusion. "Is that all?" Tarn asked his companion. The companion, a thin being named Luma, tilted its glowing eyes. "Humans are new," Luma said. "Perhaps they rely on tools." "He carries none," Tarn replied. Eli heard none of this. He was already moving toward the next hall. The academy assigned living spaces next. Eli's room was small but clean. A bed, a desk, and a wide window showing the training fields below. He sat for a moment, breathing slowly. His legs already felt tired, but it was a good tired. It meant his body was awake. A chime sounded at the door. "Student Eli Rook," the guide voice said. "Orientation begins in 10 units." Eli stood and followed. The orientation chamber was full. Hundreds of students filled the space. Instructors floated or stood above them. The lead instructor, a large figure with a stone-like body, spoke with a deep voice. "You are here because your people believe you have value. This academy will test that belief. You will train. You will fail. Some of you will leave early. Some of you will not leave at all." The words were heavy but calm. No threat, only fact. Your first evaluation will take place in the arena. It is not a contest of honor, it is a test of survival. A low sound moved through the crowd. Many students straightened. Some smiled. Eli's eyes stayed forward. After orientation, students were grouped by threat level. Eli was placed in Group 9, the lowest. The group was small. Many species with low power or rare biology stood there. A thin instructor reviewed them. "You will face basic trials," the instructor said. "The arena will adjust to your level. Do not expect comfort." The instructor paused when reading Eli's file. "Human, you are cleared as non-threatening. You will be observed for record purposes only." Some students glanced at Eli again. A few looked relieved that he was not competition. One small creature even laughed softly. Eli did not react. That night, Eli lay on his bed and stared at the ceiling. The gravity pressed gently but constantly. His muscles ached. He thought of home, of long runs under heavy packs, of training where quitting was not allowed. Machines never understood pain. They only measured output. Outside his window, the arena lights powered on. The arena was old, older than the academy. It was said that the world had grown around it, not the other way around. It waited. Deep inside its systems, new data had been added: human, low power, unknown limits. The arena did not judge by first readings. It prepared. Eli closed his eyes and slept. He did not know that by morning, the academy would already be wrong. Morning arrived with a pale sun rising over the academy plateau. Eli Rook stretched and stood by his window. Below, the training fields were already active. Alien students moved in groups, lifting massive weights, running over uneven terrain, or practicing energy strikes that left trails in the air. Some looked like art in motion, others like raw power. Eli did not feel small. He felt measured, ready to face what was coming. The low chime called him to the assembly hall. Students gathered quietly. Instructors floated above, showing holograms of the arena. It was enormous, shaped like a wide valley with shifting platforms, hidden traps, and zones with varying gravity. The arena had been called a test of survival for centuries. Many species feared it. Eli entered with his small group, Group 9. He noticed a few students looking at him with quiet surprise. He had not said much since arrival. His calm made others uneasy. A creature named Koro, short and wide with many small eyes, gave a soft greeting. Eli nodded back. They did not need words yet. The arena doors opened. Light and heat poured out. The floor beneath their feet was rough and uneven. Some of the weaker students stumbled, but Eli did not. He walked slowly, observing. He noted the changing shadows, the direction of the air currents, and the uneven platforms ahead. The first trial was simple: cross the first zone while avoiding falling hazards. Many aliens leaped, showing off their strength, but misjudged distance or timing. Some fell into the traps and had to be pulled out by hovering instructors. Eli took careful steps. He felt the weight in each leg, adjusted for the uneven ground, and kept moving. He barely made a sound, but each step was precise. When he reached the first checkpoint, an instructor floated by. "Human," the instructor said in a neutral voice, "your movements are unusual. Efficiency is high. Risk is low. Continue." The comment made no one else react. They assumed it was simple praise. Eli did not smile or speak. He was already calculating the next zone. The second zone had rising gravity. Students were expected to jump over gaps, lift panels, and avoid falling debris. Many aliens struggled. Their muscles burned quickly, their jumps failed. Some yelled in frustration. Eli's body adapted. He felt the weight increase, slowed his pace, bent knees carefully, and pushed through each obstacle. When debris fell near him, he timed his step perfectly. He did not rush. A small voice came from Koro. "I did not think anyone could move so easily under this pressure." Eli looked at him and nodded. By mid-trial, the academy instructors whispered among themselves. The scanners in the arena began flagging anomalies. The human was not showing expected weakness. Each movement was precise. Energy output was minimal, but heart rate and oxygen consumption were steady. Endurance exceeded projected levels. Meanwhile, some aliens started noticing the human's calm. A creature named Velu, tall and covered in light feathers, tried to intimidate Eli by standing in his path. He leaped forward, expecting Eli to stumble. Eli moved aside not by force but by anticipation. Velu stumbled past him, losing balance and muttered in surprise. The arena adjusted. Gravity shifted slightly, air pressure changed, and new obstacles appeared. Most of Group 9 panicked. Eli did not. He guided a few weaker students over gaps, pointing to safe steps or steadying them. He never carried anyone, but his words and gestures worked. By the end of the zone, Eli was the first of his group at the checkpoint. Others followed, tired, shocked, or limping. The instructors made notes. The academy had marked the human as non-threatening, but the arena data was now showing different results. The next area was designed to test reactions under stress. Drones attacked with soft pulses, meant to challenge reflexes. Most aliens hit their limits immediately. They dodged poorly or overreacted, losing balance. Eli moved steadily. He sidestepped, ducked, and rolled at precise times. The drone's pulses barely touched him. When a drone came too close to Koro, Eli moved in and lightly pushed it away, redirecting it without stopping. A small cheer from Koro followed. Other students stared. They had expected the human to fail. Now he was helping, surviving, and moving forward calmly. In the final part of the arena for that day, a zone of heat and shifting platforms awaited. Temperatures rose quickly, the floor tilted, and small fires burned in certain spots. Many students froze, unsure of where to step. Some attempted to leap and failed. Eli paused, measured each platform, and walked carefully. His pace was slower than most, but he was unshaken. When he crossed, instructors looked surprised. The arena systems began recalculating threat levels. The trial ended, and students were escorted to recovery halls. Eli was tired, yes, but his body was not broken. Many aliens were exhausted, some injured, some frustrated. Koro clapped lightly and said, "I will follow your pace from now on. You are different." Eli nodded once. He did not speak much. Words were not always needed. Later, the instructors met quietly. They argued. The academy scanners had misjudged the human. While others measured raw power, speed, or energy, the arena measured adaptation and endurance. Eli had survived zones meant to challenge multiple high-threat aliens. He had guided others. He had stayed calm when chaos happened. One instructor, stone-skinned and old, spoke firmly. The human should not have survived this long. Data shows minimal power but extraordinary endurance and strategy. We must monitor closely. Another replied, "Do not underestimate. The arena adjusts to unknown threats." Perhaps the human is lucky. The arena itself seemed to pulse quietly. It had seen many species, many challengers. It detected an anomaly: human, minimal outward power, maximum survival instinct, unknown potential. Eli rested that night in his room. His body ached in familiar ways, but he welcomed it. Training had always been this way. Pain was a guide, not a punishment. Outside, the arena lights glimmered. Inside its systems, it recalculated. Tomorrow, the trials would continue, and the human would face challenges far greater than anyone expected. The morning was silent except for the soft hum of the academy systems. Eli Rook stood at the edge of the training platform, stretching his arms and legs. The past day had been exhausting, yet his body felt ready. His muscles ached slightly, a familiar feeling from long runs and hard exercises. He welcomed it. Others in his group were less steady, some limping, others rubbing their arms or heads. They had underestimated the arena. The instructors appeared above the platform, floating in their forms of light and stone. One spoke. "Today's trial will be a solo survival test. Each student will enter a section alone. It will test your endurance, your decision-making, and your ability to adapt. The arena will not adjust for comfort." Eli moved forward calmly. He watched other students hesitate. Fear was visible on some faces. He had seen fear many times before, and he knew it slowed people down. He took a deep breath and stepped into the first portal that led into the arena. The environment changed instantly. Gravity fluctuated in small waves. The floor became uneven and the air felt thicker. Sparks of energy flashed from distant panels, warning of unstable zones. Drones hovered nearby, scanning for reaction speed. Eli did not flinch. He adjusted his stance, keeping low, and observed the patterns. Every movement, every pulse, every sound was noted in his mind. The first challenge was a narrow walkway suspended over a deep chasm. Many aliens rushed across and fell, panicking under pressure. Eli walked deliberately. He felt the floor vibrate, timed his steps with the sway, and kept his balance. One misstep would have been fatal, yet he crossed without error. The arena sensors marked him as unusual. No previous human had performed like this. Next came a zone filled with falling debris and shifting platforms. High-gravity zones activated unexpectedly. Students before had been thrown or crushed. Eli moved slowly, letting the debris pass and choosing each platform carefully. When a large panel tipped dangerously, he grabbed its edge, held it steady, and used it to swing himself forward. He landed safely while the panel clanged loudly behind him. A distant voice from an instructor echoed through the arena. Observation: human shows minimal reaction to high stress. Efficiency is above expected threshold. Continue monitoring. The next obstacle required quick thinking. Small fires blocked the way and the heat rose rapidly. The floor below shifted in panels, some stable, some collapsing. Others would leap blindly, their instincts forcing them into mistakes. Eli paused, assessed which panels were steady, and tested each with careful steps. The heat burned, but he adapted. He controlled breathing, slowed his pulse, and moved with intention. He did not run. He survived. Midway through the trial, a mechanical drone fired pulses at Eli. He sidestepped, letting it pass, then turned and redirected it toward a falling rock, causing the drone to strike the obstacle and reset. Other students would have panicked and failed. Eli stayed calm. His mind measured angles, weights, and timing. It calculated survival in ways that sensors could not predict. By the time Eli reached the second checkpoint, the arena had shifted again. Gravity zones, heat waves, and falling debris all combined. Most species before him had collapsed under the complexity. Eli noticed one injured alien, Koro, lying on a platform too far to reach safely. Eli paused and assessed the situation. He could not lift Koro alone, but he could guide him. Using a sequence of gestures and careful timing, Eli directed the alien to step in precise ways until Koro reached safety. He did not rush, and he did not speak loudly. Calmness guided survival. Instructors above whispered. One said, "The human is still alive." Minimal outward power, yet survival exceeds expectations. The arena recalculates threat potential. Next was a zone of constant energy pulses and rotating barriers. Aliens had to jump, duck, or move through a maze of beams. Many had energy shields, claws, or wings to assist, but their reflexes failed under stress. Eli moved carefully. He watched the beams, timed steps, and used low rolls to avoid energy pulses. The barriers would have crushed most others. He passed without injury. The arena now flagged Eli as a priority observation entity. His calmness, calculation, and endurance exceeded its database of all species that had ever competed. For the first time, the arena sensed that humans might not be measured by raw strength or energy. Adaptation, patience, and calculation were the hidden traits. Toward the end, a zone of low oxygen and heavy heat awaited. Breathing became difficult. Muscles burned faster and visibility dropped. Many aliens froze, panting, or stumbled. Eli adjusted his breathing pattern. He moved slowly, carefully, monitoring each step. Every platform, every obstacle, every flash of energy was considered. His mind worked as much as his body. Each movement was efficient, conserving energy while advancing forward. He noticed small creatures panicking nearby, trapped by their own fear. He guided a few with gestures, moving them towards safe platforms without leaving his path. Others began to whisper about the human. He was not fast, not powerful, yet he survived when others failed. The final section had shifting gravity, spikes, and a zone that forced mental calculation. Platforms moved in complex sequences. One misstep meant falling into spikes. Eli paused, observed patterns, and mapped the sequence in his mind. Step by step he moved, counting, adjusting, surviving. When he reached the last checkpoint, his body was fatigued, sweat and heat dripping, but he was unbroken. The arena systems recorded his success. Minimal power, high endurance, supreme calculation. He had survived when most others had failed and had even assisted weaker students along the way. Instructors convened. "The human cannot be ignored," one said. "Initial readings were incorrect. Survival instinct exceeds known thresholds. Observation continues." The arena itself seemed to recognize the anomaly. Every calculation, every trap, every stress test had been met and surpassed without failure. No other student had displayed this level of adaptation under extreme conditions. Eli rested that night, muscles sore but mind alert. He understood that raw power was measured easily, but survival required more. The academy had judged incorrectly. The arena had shown the truth. The human was not weak. He was dangerous in ways few could comprehend. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, and Eli would face them quietly, steadily, and prepared for every obstacle. The day began with a low hum that spread across the academy grounds. Eli Rook prepared in his room, stretching his arms and legs. His body was sore, but his mind was alert. He knew today would be different. The arena was not finished with him, and neither was the academy. When he arrived at the assembly area, students from all groups were gathered. The instructor spoke with calm authority. "Today's trial will involve multiple students in a collapsing arena zone. Only those who can adapt, lead, and survive will continue. Panic will not be tolerated." The announcement caused murmurs. Strong students exchanged looks of doubt. Eli did not react. He had seen fear before. He had faced traps, shifting gravity, heat, and obstacles. Today would be another test. The arena doors opened. Light spilled over the rough stone floor. Platforms shifted as students stepped forward. Gravity waves pulsed through the chamber. Drones flew overhead, projecting energy pulses and testing reflexes. Smoke rose from vents, reducing visibility. Eli moved forward calmly. Other students rushed ahead, showing strength but little patience. Some tripped, others froze under stress. Eli's eyes scanned the environment. Every movement, every shift, every pattern was noted. He was moving carefully but steadily. A student named Raxil, tall and muscular with sharp claws, charged forward aggressively. He saw Eli as weak and assumed the human would collapse under pressure. He leaped and attacked. Eli sidestepped smoothly, using momentum to guide Raxil past a collapsing platform. Raxil lost balance and barely caught a ledge. His eyes widened in shock. Around them, chaos unfolded. Platforms tilted, traps activated, and gravity shifted. Many students panicked. Eli guided a small group of weaker aliens, pointing and signaling safe paths. His calmness allowed them to move without panic. Others watched in disbelief. The arena changed again. Gravity increased in zones, panels rose and fell, and fire vents flared unexpectedly. Most students faltered. Eli adjusted his stance, controlled his breathing, and moved with precision. Each step was calculated, each jump measured. He survived where others failed. Koro, the small alien from his group, struggled to move across a tilting panel. Eli moved quickly, using his strength to steady the panel just enough for Koro to cross safely. No words were needed. The action spoke for itself. Raxil tried again, attacking Eli with more aggression. Eli did not counter violently. He used timing and the arena's shifting platforms to redirect the attack. Raxel fell into a safe but confined area, unable to harm anyone. The display of skill stunned the watching students. The arena continued to escalate its challenges. Platforms collapsed, energy pulses increased, and shifting gravity forced constant adaptation. Eli led others, saved injured students, and maintained calm. His body was pushed to the limit, yet he remained unbroken. Sweat and heat dripped, but his mind calculated every step. Instructors above whispered among themselves. The human is no longer minimal threat. He adapts, survives, and leads. The Academy data was incorrect. This is a delayed but dangerous apex survivor. The arena systems recorded anomaly after anomaly. The human's endurance, strategy, and calm under chaos were unmatched. Every trap designed to break students failed against Eli. Even the strongest aliens could not match his combination of patience and action. By the end of the trial, many students were injured, some exhausted, others broken by fear. Eli and his group had survived. The arena calculated survival probability, noting that human response was unlike any other species recorded. It recognized that humans might be underestimated at first, but their true potential was revealed under prolonged stress. Eli returned to his room that night, muscles sore and body fatigued, yet his mind alert. He understood that survival was not about raw power or speed. It was patience, observation, strategy, and endurance. The Academy's initial assessment had been wrong. Humans were not weak. They were dangerous in subtle ways. Outside, the arena's lights pulsed quietly, as if acknowledging the human's performance. Tomorrow, new trials awaited, and the Academy would have to reconsider its assumptions. Eli slept, ready for what was coming next, knowing that the human way was slow to reveal but unstoppable once shown. The final day of trials began under a gray dawn that stretched over the Academy plateau. Eli Rook rose from his bed, muscles stiff but steady, his mind already preparing. He had faced shifting gravity, collapsing platforms, and fire vents. Each challenge had been met calmly and precisely. Today, he would face the conclusion, a trial designed to push all students to their limits and beyond. The assembly hall was quiet except for the low hum of the Academy systems. Students gathered, exhausted, injured, and wary. The instructors floated above, their forms of stone, light, and energy emanating authority. The lead instructor spoke. Today, all previous lessons will combine. The arena will test endurance, strategy, leadership, and survival. Only those who truly adapt will succeed. A low murmur passed through the crowd. Many students looked at one another nervously. Eli did not move faster or slower. He walked calmly to the portal that led into the arena. Behind him, the last students in his group hesitated, some injured, some shaken. Koro gave a small nod of encouragement. Eli returned it with a quiet gesture. Words were unnecessary. The arena opened. Light poured over the wide valley, revealing shifting platforms, rising columns of fire, energy pulses, and zones of heavy gravity. Drones moved like predators, scanning for missteps. The air was thick, heavy with heat and tension. Students stepped forward, some confidently, others with fear. Eli entered steadily. He paused for a moment, observing the arena. Every platform, every shift in gravity, every flicker of energy he noted. Other students rushed forward, leaping or running, showing power but lacking patience. Some fell. Some panicked. Eli moved precisely, each step deliberate. His body was tired, but his mind was alert. The first zone forced students to cross tilting platforms over a pit of energy spikes. Many stumbled. Eli measured each platform, timing his steps with the rhythm of the shifts. He crossed without error. When a small student froze, unsure where to step, Eli pointed silently, guiding them safely. The next zone was a maze of moving walls and rotating barriers. Energy pulses fired unpredictably. Strong aliens used brute force, slashing or pushing through. Many failed, taking hits or becoming trapped. Eli moved calmly, observing patterns, stepping with intention, and adapting instantly. The arena recalculated his threat level, recording data no human had ever reached. Midway through, Raxel, the tall, aggressive student from previous trials, tried to attack Eli. This time he jumped with full force, intending to knock the human aside. Eli sidestepped, using timing and environment. Raxel collided with a moving barrier and fell to a lower platform, injured but alive. Eli did not celebrate. His attention remained on the arena and those who needed guidance. In the following section, gravity intensified and smoke filled the air. Platforms collapsed beneath students' feet. Panic spread. Eli adjusted his pace, calculating weight, timing, and balance. He guided Koro and a few others across unstable surfaces. His calm allowed them to survive where they would have otherwise failed. The final challenge combined heat, energy pulses, and collapsing terrain. Most aliens froze or rushed blindly. Eli moved step by step, adjusting, observing, adapting. Sweat ran down his face, heat burned, muscles screamed, but he stayed precise. Every movement conserved energy while advancing forward. Every obstacle was a calculation, every decision a measure of survival. When he reached the final checkpoint, the arena registered his completion. Injured students were assisted, exhausted students breathed heavily, and many instructors floated silently. The data streams showed the truth. Humans were not weak. They did not reveal strength immediately, but endurance, adaptability, and strategy made them apex survivors in prolonged trials. The lead instructor addressed the students. The trials are complete. Many failed. Many succeeded by luck or brute force. One student, human Eli Rook, has surpassed all expectations. His endurance, calm, strategy, and leadership under extreme conditions have redefined what we know of his species. The other students looked at Eli with surprise, respect, and fear. Those who underestimated him before now recognized his capability. The Academy had cleared humans as non-threatening initially. That judgment had failed. The arena had spoken the truth. Eli did not respond with pride. He had trained for this. He understood that survival required more than raw strength. He had guided others, adapted constantly, and faced pain without panic. That was the human way. In the recovery hall, students were tended, and instructors reviewed the data. Discussions were hushed but urgent. New protocols were suggested for human students. Future assessments would consider endurance, adaptation, and leadership under stress. Humans had shown they could not be measured by simple power metrics. Eli looked out the window of his room that evening. The sun was low, painting the academy in gold and gray. He thought of home, of Earth, and of the training that had prepared him. The academy would have to rethink everything. The arena had already spoken, and humans were no longer underestimated. A final chime sounded, indicating messages from Earth. Eli received the message quietly, reading lines from leaders and trainers who had sent him. More humans might arrive soon. The Academy would have to prepare, knowing that the slow reveal of human potential could change everything. Eli sat silently, ready. The trials were over, but the path ahead was just beginning. Humans had been cleared as non-threatening by the Academy, but the arena had failed to see the truth. Now, the universe would see.